Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Inner Humble Opinion. My name's Chachi. Tom's not going to be joining us today. A lot of stuff going on. He had to go travel for the weekend, all that stuff. Happy holidays, Thanksgiving, whatever you call it. It's fine. Thursday, we got 3 games coming on tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. I'm recording this on Wednesday, by the way, this week. We're going to go over Week 12's Ravens and Packers games, and then the rest of the league, like we've been doing the last few weeks. I feel like it's a better format. It's quicker. Today it's just me, so it's going to be very fast, but not on purpose, just who am I bouncing stuff off. But as in traditional fashion, we're going to go with which game was first, which, since the Ravens played a Monday Nighter, it was Tom's team. The 49ers were at the Packers. 49ers dealing with a lot of injuries, but the Packers won 38-10, and I must say, I was very impressed by this with the Packers. Their run game, they stuck to it, did a great job. Jordan Love made the passes he needed to. Defense looked really good. They played hard. Now, they didn't have Brock Purdy, the 49ers. I do think it's a big step back with Allen in there, but the 49ers just don't look right. A lot of injuries. Just doesn't seem to be their year. I think firing their coach is ridiculous. I think he's a very good coach. I think that he would get people would wrap him right up, despite what I think about him in the Super Bowl, which I've already said he's made a lot of mistakes there. I think you got to give him a little heat for that, but I don't know about firing him. I still think he's a very good coach. McCaffrey just got back. I do think they're going to go a little bit of a run eventually, as soon as if Purdy gets back, but I heard that's up in the air. So you really need him. As much as I talk about him not being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, like everyone says, I do think he's an above average quarterback, like top 15. So I'm like, he is a very good quarterback. Without him, it's a big step down. But overall, the Packers, just Josh Jacobs running them really. Kyle Shanahan, that's his name, sorry. Kyle Shanahan, don't fire him. But Josh Jacobs, he's very good running back. They really pounds the rock, wears you down. So far, every free agent pickup in running back wise, these older guys have done great for their new teams. I just love the commitment to the run, which when we go over the Raven game is just my issue with the Ravens. One week they do it, the next week they don't. But the Packers are looking good. Pass rush is starting to come around. Rashawn Gary, everybody, the defense, Quay Walker, they have their guys. Corners are playing better. As Tom always says, Jair Alexander, though, he's always like, is he going to play? Is he not? Very good when he does. That's their issue. Jordan Love, no big turnovers in this game. Cut down that, but I also think that's what makes him great now. Christian Watson got to catch the ball more. They have an issue there. The receivers drop passes at inopportune times. In this game, they made some big catches. Jalen Reed is very good. I like that guy a lot. Love him. But overall, I think the Packers are doing a good job of not. I think we talked about this last week. Not hitting their stride too early. They're really starting to gel like last year. You're gonna gel like they did last year at the very end for the playoffs, ready to go. And I think that division is easily the best one this year. Uh, the NFC North. I think the Lions are clearly probably the best team in the NFC. No, they are the best team in the NFC, and I think the favorites to win the Super Bowl. If I was picking them right now, I still think they can be beaten. I mean, what I think is hilarious is Jared Goff had a 5 pick game, and no one talked about that. It was fine. I mean, they barely won. They should have lost the game. The Texans just aren't the same. But if that was any other team, you would hear a lot more crap. But anyway, I think they're a great team. But I think Green Bay, they play them tough. They could have, if that pick wasn't thrown by Jordan Love, that would have been a close game. I think me and Tom talked about that. I still think the Lions are the class, and we'll talk about the Eagles in a little bit, but they looked really good as well. Saquon Barkley looks like a great pickup in free agency. But overall, 49ers, a lot of injuries they're dealing with. Defense doesn't look the same, though. I will say that. Offensively, there's just no rhythm with that team now. Debo's kind of. What's scary is you paid Debo and Ayuk, and that's a little. That's a little. I don't think that was a good idea because now all your money's trapped into 2 receivers, and honestly, Debo has not been the same for a while. He's always injured, and even when he does play, he hasn't been the same this year. So I don't know. 49ers got a lot of questions, but I don't think Kyle Shanahan's one of them. I think you keep him because I do think he's an excellent head coach. Packers keep rolling. You're going to get better each time. Love what they're doing on offense. It's really hard to stop a team that can run the ball. And they're one of the few teams, if an injury does occur quarterback, they can win some games. They've showed that. Like Quay Walker said, I think I saw the quote. They had injuries without their quarterback. They won 3 games. There's no excuse for the 49ers. Get over it. It happens. And I agree. I mean, the Ravens did that the one year they had trouble, but they almost beat the Bengals in the playoffs. You have to deal with what happens. Lamar you get hurt tomorrow, we'll have to keep going. But anyway, congratulations to Packers. They're going to keep rolling. I think they're well on their way to the playoffs, and good because that means our show gets to talk about our teams in the playoffs again. But anyway, let's get to the next game. My beloved Monday night. Whoa, what is this? Oh no, we don't want that. Oh, what is? Whoa, wow. What is going on? I went way down there. Anyway, we're gonna go to the Monday night game. The Ravens at the Chargers. Ravens win 30-23. I thought the Ravens came out like Roquan Smith didn't play in this game. Defense still was very impressive to me because I was not expecting them to play well. This is a team that has had really good success in the last few games. They started off a little slow to Ravens. Lamar was really high on his passes to everyone. He was coming out a little excited, jumping around, throwing the ball high. But what I did like from the Ravens, and this is my problem with the Ravens, the inconsistencies of one week you run the ball a lot with Henry and all your other running backs, you run them, and then the next week you'll barely run them. You get down. This game you were down 10-0. You still ran the ball. I don't understand the inconsistency. If they ever get consistency, they'll be fine, but that's a big if. Now, Roquan Smith, they definitely missed him because before J.K. Dobbins got hurt, they were running all over him, and you could see them missing him in the middle. Now, Malik Harrison is a good tackler when he gets his hands on you. He's just speed-wise, he's a little slow, but did a very admirable, very good job in that game. He definitely came into his own later on in the game when he started getting a feel, and it was really impressed with him. Trey White did a good job in that game. I thought he's been a good add-on actually, and then when we got him, I just thought he was really old and had nothing left, but he looked really good in that game. The Chargers, it's just something with Herbert. I like him, but I never see like the step to being as good as these other guys. And we put him in that Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes, Lamar category. I think honestly Jordan Love's closer to that, or even putting him in there. I would not have a problem with it more than Justin Herbert. I like him, has all the tools. He's a good player, but to me he's a step above Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, he's better than him, but wouldn't put him in the top 5 yet or anything like that. Top 8. He's solid. Maybe top 8. He's a solid player. He's got great talent. I just don't know. Sometimes it's just missing there. But I think Jim Harbaugh is doing a fantastic job with the team. I think next year they're going to be even better. This year they're going to be scary. Trust me. By the end of the year they're going to be rolling because that defense has a lot of players. Lamar and the team really got it together on offense. Started rolling like they always do, running the ball, being smart. Lamar making the plays when you needed him to. The guy's just a great player. The offense is just really good when it's rolling. Defensively, though, like I said, really impressed by them playing better on defense. Now, the tough test this week, you got the Eagles, so luckily it's home. We'll see what happens. Ravens usually play in NFC well, but this is a big step. This is a big team. Beat them, respect. You're back to 9-4, you're fine. You got the Steelers at home to really probably win the division if you win that game. But overall, impressed by the Ravens. I think the Chargers are fine. They're well ahead of schedule, and I love both these I love Jim Harbaugh as a coach. John, I've had my differences. Not my differences. He don't know me. I have my complaints sometimes about him. He's a decent coach, though. It's just I just feel like it's not even about his coaching. He's just been there so long, it gets stale. But the biggest problem I have with the Ravens before we're done is the penalties. That is coaching. You guys they have to do a better job with that. It's going to kill them in a game. Now, I do think the refs sometimes are inconsistent, especially with the Ravens. Everything's a penalty. There were several times with the Chargers, the receivers were pushing off or their corners, and they didn't get called for the same stuff the Ravens were getting called. Like the one on Jeremy Stevens. I'm like, how are you about to call that? That's crazy. And the one in the back of the end zone where Mark Andrews catches the ball for a touchdown should have been PI. The guy didn't look for the ball, and he ran into him way before the ball was there. No one's been talking about that. Let alone he tried to call him out of bounds, which, what are you, blind? But that should have been PI. That's crazy. That's insane. The dude was tackling him. It reminded me of to a lesser extent, because that one was really blatant, but the Falcons and Chiefs game where they were like tackling Kyle Pitts before. You got to make these calls. It's not that hard. He's not looking. He's running into the guy. It's ridiculous. But overall, one last thing in this game before we end it. The Chargers, Quentin Johnson needs to learn how to catch the ball. I mean, his hands are atrocious. The guy gets open, he just can't catch. That one play, he probably had 30, 40 yards on that if he catches that. Because the only guy I saw was 29, being able to cut him off, and then maybe they tackle him. But that was not good. Not good. Really did miss on that, but this was a different regime, so it's not their fault. But anyway, great game for the Ravens. Great bounce back. Now show me something against the Philadelphia Eagles, because that's going to be a game. Now let's get to the rest of the league. Around the rest of the league, it's going to be fun. We just do our little quick ways. Sorry about that. It keeps going down to the bottom for some reason. So my overarching theme, we want to talk about the Eagles real quick. Saquon Barkley, 255 yards, 302 total yards. They really use him well in the offense. Him and Jalen Hurts really fit well together. Great receivers. Two great receivers. Good, really good tight end. They're rolling. They're one of the better teams in the NFC. They really are. Top tier. Lions, we talked about them. They're just the Lions. The Broncos, look out for Bo Nix. Ravens look good against them, but their defense is good, and Bo Nix is really playing while he's catching his stride. Cowboys upset the Commanders. Commanders kind of having trouble in offense right now. I think people are starting to figure out how to stop them a little bit. They're still a tough team. They're playing competitively, so I think they're going to be fine. But yeah, they got to fix a few things. People are starting to figure them out a little bit. You can't get stale. Buccaneers really looking good. Baker Mayfield, what a renaissance guy's a player, man. Giants, though, they are a mess. You get rid of Daniel Jones. It's just been a mess. I don't know what to do with that. They're going to need to rebuild. It's entirely too much. I think they're going to fire their coach and GM, and they're just going to redo the whole thing. But to literally lose Saquon, then get rid of Daniel Jones in one, it's just crazy. Now, I do think the guy they found to run out, Tracy, is a very good running back. I don't think for the money you had to pay for Saquon, it's the worst thing. I just think paying Daniel Jones is your problem there. I don't get that. That's my issue. Lions, like I said, roll in. The Texans, what is going on there? But let me give, we get on Will Levis, but he had a really good game. He played really well in this game, and I have to give him credit for that. That was very impressed with him and the Titans. They're a tough little team, man. 3-8, I know, but they're fighting. They're fighting hard every game. Vikings beat the Bears. The Bears seem snake bit this year. I don't know what it is. They keep getting close and then losing. I think Caleb Williams is a very good player. I just think sometimes it just doesn't work for him, and he makes some mistakes. He's a rookie. I don't even think it's his fault. But the Bears, their line's terrible. They kind of don't have, him and DJ Moore don't have good chemistry. Defense is good, but the team's just, Uberflus is okay. I'm not a big fan of him as a coach. So, we'll see. I just don't see it right now. They got to get more consistent. Chiefs had a dogfight with the Panthers. I wanted to take time to give credit to Bryce Young. He played great in this game. He's played really well the last 3 games. I think the guy he's really starting to look like that first overall pick. I don't know if I'll ever look like the first overall pick, but I think he'd be a really decent quarterback. I think his confidence is kind of back. In fact, if I'm a Panthers fan, I actually enjoy watching my team right now because they are actually playing a lot better. And he is making throws. A couple of them yesterday were like, I rewatched the game just to see. I saw the end, but I didn't get to see the beginning. I watched it a little bit. He was really playing well. The Chiefs, I said this a couple weeks ago, you're not going to win that championship playing like that. Someone's going to beat you. Buffalo beat them, and I'm telling you, you're playing too many close games. You ain't going to be able to pull them all out. Somebody's going to miss a field goal. Someone's going to tip a ball. It's always dangerous. They did this the year Tampa Bay beat them by 1 million in the Super Bowl. You kept winning close games, and then you got into the Super Bowl, and you tried to flick the switch, and it just went down. And I know everybody, the linemen were hurt. Before the game, everyone picked the Chiefs. When they lost, you made excuses. If it was so easy, you all should have picked the Buccaneers. You didn't. I'm just saying. I love going back to the game because I always think it's so funny how everyone in hindsight's like, well, you shouldn't do that. Yeah, okay. That's not what happened when it happened. Y'all were all picking them. And then my favorite game of the whole week, and I watched it because it was on Thursday night, we'll go for it. The Browns, who are annoying because if you play them, they're going to be tough, especially a divisional opponent. They're going to give you crap. They're probably the worst team in the division. They're just annoying because their defense is really good. And Jameis will just throw it, and by golly, sometimes he makes plays, man. They're tough. Nick Chubb's back. They're just a tough team, man. Yeah. What a game, too. The snow globe game. Love it. It was Cleveland, please don't put a dome on your stadium. You already made a bunch of bad decisions with Deshaun Watson. Please don't put a dome on your stadium. As for the Steelers, I think they're fine. They're just a team that plays close games, and they're going to win 90% of them. They just have a 90s, the majority. I'll just say the majority, but they win a lot of them. They play tough. They're always going to be in the game. You're never going to blow them out. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. You just have to be like the Browns, be more physical and make the plays at the end. You got to bring that. It's the thing the Ravens don't do. You got to bring that toughness like they do. The Browns did that. They were like, we're going to fight. We're going to fight. It gets a little chippy, but you got to bring it too. You got to strip the ball and do all the stuff they did. Myles Garrett had a great game as well. But last thing, I see it on the highlights here. Let's give a credit to our boy Justice Hill at a 54-yard touchdown run, which was very impressive. But that's it. I think this next week's going to be fun. We got the 3 Thanksgiving games. We got the Eagles at the Ravens. The Eagles at the Ravens. It's going to be great, man. Fun to watch. And Tom will be back next week. I believe so. Well, pending anything happens. But Tom should be back next week. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for more of our great content. And as always, roll tide.